InTask and SPA Teaching Standards Comparison by Ashley Cordis. Teachers have many responsibilities to ensuring student success. It can be hard to keep track of everything. An easy way for teachers to do this is by making sure they are abiding by professional standards in place. Some teachers shy away from standards, viewing them as too complex and inhibiting their years of experience as teachers. When observed, however, many of these teachers are already teaching by these standards without even realizing it. If they took the time to learn the standards, they would find they aren't all that foreign in concept. There are many standards that are common across organizations and nations. This is because teaching is a common practice and learning is a universal concept that stems from the same reactions in the brain, no matter where in the world you are. In this presentation, we will be looking at common themes in Interstate Teacher Assessment and Support Consortium, or InTask standards, and Specialized Professional Association, or SPA mathematics standards. The first common theme of the standards is understanding students on an individual level. Every student is unique and is coming from a unique educational background and experience. Each student has unique interests and hobbies. Not every student in a classroom is at the same developmental stage. This means that teaching methods will need to be varied to reach everyone within the classroom. Each student has different academic strengths and weaknesses that can be used to assist in their learning of the content. Collaborating with teachers of a subject that students are strong in to aid in their understanding of subjects that they are weak in, and enlisting students who excel in a subject to assist a student who struggles can help keep everyone on the same page and feeling adequately challenged. This theme applies to the first InTask standard and the fifth SPA standard. InTask Standard 1, Learner Development, calls on teachers to use regular group and individual assessments to get to know their students on their academic abilities. This also helps teachers analyze how well students work with one another. Based on this, teachers need to create appropriate instruction for that specific group of students. This does not mean reworking the entire curriculum, but making adjustments and differentiating the lessons to fit the needs of the class. Collaboration is a major feature in the standard. It asks teachers to collaborate with one another to enhance lessons and have students work in collaborative groups to enhance their learning. In order to effectively do all of this and meet the requirements of the standard, teachers need to have a keen understanding of what influences learning and implement strategies into their teaching to use as many of those influences as possible. SPA Standard 5, Assessing Impact on Learning, calls for teachers to assess their students' learning. This involves pre-assessments to determine prior knowledge of a student and regular assessments throughout the course to track understanding of new concepts. The data collected from these assessments needs to be analyzed regularly so adjustments can be made to lessons as needed. If assessments show a class does not have the prior knowledge needed to begin a lesson, a review lesson will need it to be worked into the plan prior to instruction on new content. If assessments show a class struggled to grasp new concepts, those lessons will need to be revisited in some fashion to ensure understanding. If a pre-assessment shows students already fully grasp an upcoming concept, those lessons can be shortened and grant more time to more difficult lessons that may need revisiting and slower pacing. In order to effectively meet these standards, collaboration is essential. Both standards look to collaboration with the families of the students, communities, and colleagues to aid in understanding and meeting the needs of individual students. Families know the students best and give information on how the student handles academics and learning outside of the classroom. They can also add input on the student's hobbies and interests that can be used to engage the student in the curriculum. The family is also a great resource to provide aid outside of school in assisting a struggling student with further understanding concepts. Collaboration with communities can help get resources into the classroom to assist in learning, from donations to fundraisers to attending seminars to understanding new diversities present in classes. Colleagues can also help provide resources as well as insight into how the student does in other courses and methods those teachers use to assist struggling students. InTask also highlights collaboration with other professionals. This type of collaboration can give insight into resources teachers may not have realized were available, or new teaching methods to meet specific learning needs. SPA highlights peer support within the classroom. Students' collaboration is very effective in learning for both the tutor and the tutee. The tutee gets one-on-one instruction with varying explanations, while the tutor puts the concepts into their own words, helping solidify the information into their long-term memory. Collecting data on the students can help shed light on their learning needs. Results from assessments can show where a student struggles, what concepts they need to review before moving to new concepts, where students excel, and what learning methods work best for each student. Data collected by previous teachers and assessments can be used to see growth and teaching methods that did or did not work. During lessons, it is important to still be taking notes on students for data purpose. When students show strength in content or concepts, that indicates a basis for growth in the content area. When students show misconceptions, that is an opportunity for students to learn and correct their mistakes. It is important to take note of any evidence of learning and what teaching methods were used that worked well for that student. The most important thing, though, is to use all this data collected and adjust instruction plans based on the data. The second theme is mastery of content. This may seem like it goes without saying, but a teacher needs to understand the content they are teaching to students. This, however, does not simply mean being able to do it themselves, but also being able to explain it and represent it in multiple forms. What is it exactly? Major concepts and vocabulary should be first to spring to mind, but they are not the only things a teacher needs to know. Teachers need to be prepared for misconceptions so they can address them even before a student conceives them. To do this, a teacher needs deep knowledge of the content, knowing how it is done right, as well as common ways in which it is done wrong. Mastery of content appears in InTask Standard 4 and SPA Standard 1. InTask Standard 4, Content Knowledge, asks teachers to be able to recognize misconceptions and help students correct those misconceptions in a way that does not undermine the student's confidence in being able to learn and master the content. It asks teachers to use supplementary resources, both found within and outside of the school, to aid in instruction. Teachers need to recognize that content is not a fixed body of facts, but an evolving understanding and application of new ideas. Teachers need to be committed to mastering and continuing mastery of the content, as well as committed to guiding their students to mastery of the content. SPA Standard 1, Knowing and Understanding Mathematics, asks teachers to understand that major mathematical concepts from number logic to calculus, no matter the level at which a teacher intends to teach, it is important to understand all mathematical levels to be able to build off of students' knowledge, no matter the level the student's understanding upon entering the class. Not only do teachers need to understand the content, but they need to understand the application of the content. When am I ever going to do this? Is a student's favorite question and to devalue a lesson or subject in which they struggle. A keen understanding of the application of the concepts will offer answers to this question and motivation for students to place more value in understanding it. Collaboration with other teachers within the same content who have previously taught the students currently in a class will give insight into those students' needs and methods that worked and didn't work in teaching those students. This will also give insight into what level the students are at conceptually going into class, and give the teacher a starting point for lessons. Especially in mathematics, every concept builds on a previous concept. Being able to connect new concepts to concepts the students already understand is paramount to learning. If a teacher can collaborate with who taught the students the previous course, the teacher can be more successful by referring to the exact methods the students previously learned. Collaboration with teachers in other subject areas can help connect concepts across fields and better show application as well. Reaching out to other professionals can help teachers stay up to date on new concepts and ideas entering the field, so those concepts can be implemented into their teaching. To do this, resources both within and outside the school may be needed. Collaboration with the community can help teachers obtain these resources to access resources they wouldn't otherwise get within the school setting. Research is needed to stay up to date on ever-evolving understandings of subjects and content. New methods of approaching old concepts appear frequently, and data on these methods can be analyzed to determine if a teacher wants to try said new method in her own teaching. Varying methods can also help keep lessons engaging and provide new connections to students' interests. As classes change from year to year, so too does the demographic of the class. This will require research into the cultures of the students in each new class, so teachers can appropriately link content to those cultures. Research and data can also be used to identify common misconceptions and integrate measures to prevent those misconceptions within lesson plans. There are many things a teacher is responsible for. Without appropriate feedback, students will not be able to learn from their mistakes. In order to meet the needs of an entire class of students, differentiation, adaptation, and diverse teaching methods are essential. The very first thing a teacher is responsible for is understanding and mastering the content they are teaching. By meeting the requirements of the teaching standards for understanding individual students and mastery of content, teachers guarantee that they are taking on these responsibilities effectively.